Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong.
Y'all infidels, that's right. It's the Ultra Kayfabe Declassified Thursday taping on the Friday Locker Room with Big Stevie Cool, Hacker Hameen, and whether fighting or spitting, our discipline is unforgiving. Got you backing up in the defensive position, infidels. So wash up and let's go. If you still got the hot water running, it's Hacker Hameen, Big Stevie Cool. Let's break it all down. Y'all. Sorry, Stevie, had to take a little stab because I know you're hot there, but at least you got your shower in this morning. But seems like it's all falling down around us all the time, man. But hopefully everything gets back online for you. I had problems even logging into Facebook on my phone this morning, some weird two-factor authentication until I jumped on the PC, and then it automatically authenticated. I don't even know what the hell's going on, man, where they just want more and more and give less and less. How you doing this morning, pal?
I'm good. This is the most sought after resource in Smyrna, Georgia right now. It is water. Yeah, I would take cold water. I wouldn't care if it was hot or cold at this point. We were talking before we started recording about, we watch the news. We have to watch the mainstream media to some extent, see the bullshit that's handed to us. There's truth in the lies, and the real truth is that infrastructure all over this country is it's falling apart. We have an electrical grid that's well over a century old. There's still older parts that are almost original electrical grids that have been slightly updated, Band-Aid on a broken leg type thing. Sure. And then, the water supply, the water mains are not upgraded, especially in this area, in the Atlanta area, where they are building on top of They even did permits so you can do shotgun houses that are stacked, like 4 houses on the same lot that you would put one house on, but you're still expected to have the same power demands, the same water demands. And, yesterday was funny here because in the apartment complex, and you told the story too, our water has probably been shut off 15 times in the past year. Oh, slight water leak. Sorry for the inconvenience, this and that and the other thing. And these could be considered to be first world problems, but they make guys like us think off-grid goals. So long story short, it's just like the water's out, and obviously what they're doing is they're stretching it so thin, but they refuse to actually do the work the first time. We have a saying here in the Atlanta area, good enough. Just do good enough. That's and it. Do whatever. Instead of putting a whole new pipe or a whole new system in one time, they'll fix it 150 times and pay people double time, overtime, whatever it is. And the people who pay rent suffer, and they're not going to credit our rent for the time we're out that we got to go buy bottled water or big things of water to use the restrooms, stuff like that. So it's a little annoying, but on a positive note, I said to my wife, I go, we can have off-grid living capability with rain barrels and illegally collect water because the government owns the water and the rain, solar panels, other stuff like that. If the housing market actually came back to a reasonable atmosphere, that would be good, because I'd rather spend the 50 grand to build that infrastructure within even a mobile home. I don't give a fuck. Just if we have the land and if we have the compound, that's all that matters. And if we're able to be self-sufficient, but it's just a gentle reminder about how last year we had the toilet paper massacre. Now we have this, and now they're saying we're going to do rolling blackouts all over the country because the grid can't handle it. But we want everybody to have an electric car. So what's it going to be, man?
Great
Come on,
point.
man.
Come on, man. Get with it. Yeah, dude, it's frustrating.
Wrestling tangent. Sorry.
Oh, it's perfectly fine. Far more important than anything wrestling wise of people just going along and keep taking that whip and pay your rent, get less services, pay a more premium price.
He just raised our rent too, by the way. Good timing.
And yeah, I was looking at with the housing bubble, houses in Louisville, and everything had gone up 20, 30 grand. And now this week I'm looking and they're like, reduce $10,000. So up 20, down 10, that means you're still paying 10 over. So does that mean you offer 10 or 15 under? And now it's all this whole bullshit back and forth. They just widen the gap of what people would usually say I'll offer 5 to 10 grand underneath what asking is. And then it went to, you have to offer 20 to 30 over what asking is even to be in the game. Now it's going to be, let me ask 5 under, but it looks like it's only 15 under. It's just a sick back and forth shell game for marks who will pay a premium price versus those who are like, nah, we see you. Well, you ain't getting over on us. And fucking, they just increase. It's almost like a little bit like how I say, how I was thinking about Bitcoin yesterday, because it's fluctuates in an 8 to 10% capacity as opposed to a stock market, which might only go 1 to 2%. And if people lose like 2 or 3% a day, they're like, shit, like it's going down, it's going down. But now they've just widened the gap of percentage change of it's going to be this much above or this much below, and the pendulum's just swinging farther and farther out for the greed or the we couldn't sell it, so we'll take it on the nose a little bit.
Yeah, I told my wife this morning, because we get caught up, and we all get caught up, especially the Conspiracy Horseman show that we were doing. And by the way, the special with Ike will be up on Realm very soon, so we had that interview. We could talk about that after this, but it was something that you just have to remind yourself and the people around you that you love. Hey, this party can do this, this government can do this entity can try to do this and try to do all these things. The market can look a certain way, but as long as we live within our means, we do what we need to do to keep ourselves on track as best as we can. That's all you can really do. You can look at, oh, interest rates are low, so that's an excuse to spend an extra $100,000, where the way I've been raised is pretty much, well, not raised, but I raised myself within the wrestling business, knowing, I don't know where my next meal or check or anything's coming from. The principle of the debt to me is more important to get as low as possible than an interest rate. I'm not going into a car dealership and going, I have $350 a month. Show me a car. Oh, we got this great car that is $350 a month for the next 20 years for you to pay off.
Right.
That's what I look at. Like, I'd rather have the prices come down, interest rates go up, so I can pay the debt off quicker.
Well, you don't have to pay it off fully if you switch trucks every year.
Every year at this point for some people would be a very long time.
Markup. Yeah, man. Well, we hope everything gets back online in the H2O Big Stevie Cool Water line over there, and they stop messing with you.
The Scott Woodford, sorry, said in the chat that the grid can handle it. I have some doubts about that. I think the grid, as it stands right now, can handle it, but I don't think if you put another 200,000 Teslas out there while wanting to supercharge at home at the same time. Imagine Texas.
I was going to say, ask Houston last year how well they handled it during wintertime. So ask them how well the grid held up for them. Ask New York City with rolling blackouts. It's there isn't. It's
California's been having them for decades now, the rolling blackouts, right? The brownouts. Yeah. So, and now telling people to like basically use less water, use less electricity, we're charging you the most expensive state tax in the country. We're charging premium for just about everything, but we're expecting you to live like somebody that's essentially living like Appalachian folks that are rationing themselves. So why not just go there and pay less taxes?
No implementation of like a rain barrel program and international where, there would be an upgrade where you can switch to your own water and everybody's home has X. So it's not as much. No, nothing like that. Just more on the tee, and we'll shut her down when we say so. And you will fucking bend the knee. And that's, that's it, to interrupt your everyday life. But that's just how it goes. Whether it's, what did I have this week? Hot water heater, and took 3 days of cold showers. Then, carpets in, new tires on the car. It's just life. Every time you turn around, it kicks you right in the fucking face, and there's some greedy bastard behind it all. Oh yeah,
good morning, everybody. This is this new morning warm-up show to really get you in a positive mood. But we did have David Icke on. We finally, after years and years, had David Icke on, and I got to ask him the question that everybody's been wanting to ask him for 32 years.
Yeah, don't stooge it out. That's going to be the big pop, man, at the end. But it was awesome too. And I got to actually write back his daughter. I didn't yesterday. I just got so busy because he reached out and said what a great time he had with us. So his daughter Gemma wanted a copy of it, and I'll send her once we get it all produced up with a great intro. But to thank him and her for setting that up, and Billy Ray Valentine as well. But yeah, man, it was not surreal because we've had great guests, you know what I mean, from McAfee to damn it, I'm forgetting the UFC champ's name.
Pat Miletich.
Pat Miletich, thank you. Crazy Bone, and there's plenty more coming. I think El Plaza's doing a great job helping us get to some people. I don't know, but that'll be released on Realm when we get that launched, hopefully by August 1st, is a standalone product, probably 99 cents. But yeah, the Conspiracy Horseman and David Icke. I mean, 3.5 years of building equity and being truth tellers and being censored and being knocked down and every which way. And, you know, finally we're, I think, close to the pinnacle of being, I don't know, being recognized, but we're rubbing elbows with the main eventers who shake things up, who have a bigger following. And when they put us on that radar, they are on that top of that mountain. They won't be standing there alone. You know, and I don't think, as much as they want to come at us physically and the way we talk as wrestlers, that's an insurance policy a little bit because we'll say things even more outlandish than they want. If they poke the bear, it gives them a reason. So it's cool to be up there with them now, and now maybe Alex Jones and whoever else, you know, there's actually talks with Aubrey Huff going on some stuff too. So and guys like Lord Jamar too, for Realm possibly. So Drake Wirtz too asking. So there's a lot of free thinkers from all races, from all micro demographics, you know, and I think that part of the future looks bright to me. I see a lot of battles coming up with a lot of frustration, but only because they want to try and slow our progress, where on Realm Network, it'll be gloves off.
The trick of that is, and by the way, we learned a lot with that interview, that with people like David Icke, we're going to have to loosen him up first.
Yeah.
Because towards the end and then the post interview, that's when he had a good time. I think he didn't know what to expect. We tried to let him know, but we really need to determine if it's going to be a 5 to 7 minute thing of just kind of bullshitting and loosening the person up and trying to do whatever. Like I would ask Alex Jones, I'd be like, why are you answering your phone while you're working out? You're always doing that, it seems. You know, or he said, I was working out and then this guy just came on and I said, what? Millie Weaver's in jail.
Yeah.
Got to get back to the bench press. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just so ridiculous what a worker he is. But, you know, it's going to be a battle, but I think it sounds like we sell ourselves short, but we have to get the Realm Network has to get just enough recognizable to grow to a certain extent, but not yet be super popular, because that's what happened to Alex Jones. That's what happened to David Icke. Alex Jones had all the payment processing, which is essentially the lifeblood of what Vince does. The payment processing got shut down. He got blocked from PayPal and all these other things. We don't quite want to get popular yet to that extent, because we could end up shadow banned for a very long time off of that.
Yeah, Frank's asking, Ben, can Google or internet overlords can't shut down Realm or platforms like that? Sure, they can pull the website, but now you're
AWS, Amazon Web Services too.
Sure. But now you're talking a way higher level of censorship as opposed to the fucking social media realms or getting kicked off YouTube and having videos banned, because everything where we're going to host everything we pay for, it's a paid service behind a paywall. So, you know, that would force them to say, you can't even do business and speak openly in your own forum that you own, and we're the overlords. Well, that's a Supreme Court case waiting to happen.
No, but Alex Jones did that. That's what I mean. They shut his store down. The web, remember, he spent a bunch of money on new website and everything interactive with that. The plugins, all that stuff got shut down. So they can do it. It's just like I said, if we play under the radar, but just over enough to where we grow, that's a good business move. It doesn't sound like a great ideal theory, but it keeps us in business. I'll tell you what No Agenda does. If anyone has not listened to No Agenda, with Adam Curry and John C. Dvorak. That's kind of where we want to get into what they do, because it's a lot more fun to laugh and deconstruct the media and say, oh, we know what they're trying to do, rather than we used to get so angry and couldn't go to sleep at night after the show. So, but what they do too to circumvent PayPal and other things is they get physical checks from people, which is a great novelty, that they get checks in the mail. And it's a segment, checks in the mail or the donations, and they get a special shout out and they get actual producer credits on IMDb. I don't know how we can do that, but that's a very cool thing too. When you can put that on your resume that you're a producer of a podcast.
That is very cool. And I think in that sweet spot where we do walk the line of satire and carny workers, that they'll want to take a big shot at us, but if they do, they're kind of, I don't want to say they're lowering themselves like we're a sub product, but now that we've brought them into our arena to do that, as opposed to Alex, which was trying to be the anti-media, this, that, or the other. I think in that circle from Joe Rogan to Alex, because if we have Alex on, Joe Rogan, I think isn't far off either. And then we're right at the top, in the top inner circle of top 10 guys, but we're different. Like everyone's kind of different in their own ways. And there's nobody like the Conspiracy Horsemen with that background, and there's going to be power in numbers. And if we can increase that upper level circle with people who aren't afraid to vocalize about anything and look at it from our point of view, I think all those guys are going to be excited to come to the Conspiracy Horsemen and have a locker room level talk. And I think that with David Icke, it was that at the end, he got really like, oh shit, I wish I was one of the boys the rest of the time, instead of kind of being the college professor lecturer. So hopefully we can have him on again, and it'll be more of let's just shoot the shit and not have to worry about the big overarching message. You know what I mean? And out of that comes some of the most great gold and relationship building too. So
what about your relationship building with AEW? It doesn't seem to be going too well. I'm sure after the Russo clip just dropped with us talking about their social habits backstage while they're losing viewers almost every week. It's kind of, I don't know if there's a story about that.
Well, I mean, last night was Fighter Fest, which they're just naming all of their Wednesday shows into pay-per-views or whatever. I'm not sure why, but okay. So it was night one. Next week is night two. And they think it's funny. It'll be like that Fighter Fest thing was Fire Fest, a takeoff on that, which was a botched concert on a fucking island 2 years ago where there was a documentary on Netflix. Like, we're still holding on to this.
Was that the one that where they gave them like shitty lunches and stuff like that?
Yeah, and they had them on in these little fucking tents that all got flooded out and shit like that, you know, like, and a bunch of people paid top dollar. These Hollywood kids thinking it was going to be the event of the fucking century to be a influencer at, and got fucked. But so they're already behind the times in trying to make this joke of whatever Fighter Fest is. But yeah, man, I got a sad stooge report last night from a guy who's been on the show a couple times. A guy I got a fair amount of respect for, no doubt, is my man Charles Hammer Evans. Went last night and been getting himself in shape. You know, he was OVW tag champ with it was Bam Neely, I guess, in ECW, but Oxen.
Is that who it was?
Well, that was his tag partner. They were kind of like the new APA in OVW.
But Charles Bam Neely, I know who that is.
Yeah, Charles was also in the Floyd Mayweather Big Show thing as well.
Was he the one that took the bump off the apron?
Yes.
Okay.
So big dude, man, and like they were probably set to be the next APA, and they effed that, not them, but WWE effed that up. And you know, he worked with ODB, had a great program with ODB when I was in OVW too, and just a former military sergeant. So it's not like he's some little mark, you know what I mean? This is a man's man right here. And a big respect to Hammer. And he showed up there last night and was talking to the boys, and he's like, you know, some of the mid-card, low-card guys that we knew were super cool. And then somebody spotted him and came up and had security come up and go, you don't have enough credentials to be back here And dude, I mean, this guy worked Spears and Cody, and like we were all friends. And then a security escorted him out last night, bro. And just like he hit me up, and I could just feel, even through a text message, like that kick in the stomach of I put my life into this, and now somebody's going to tell me that I'm a fucking mark and I can't be back here with the worst indie workers in the history of the planet and he's getting kicked out because of whatever reason. Cause I mean, all hypothetical, because Cody doesn't want to deal with them or whatever it is, but he's not the kind of guy who's going to come in and start acting like an asshole backstage by any means. The guy is a fucking former drill sergeant. He knows what it takes to stay small, be a man, work WWE politics, all that kind of shit, or just say hi to his friends, and that kind of stuff goes down. And he looked at another performer who was an OVW favorite and just got the look back, and no put over, no high, no nothing, man. And it makes me sad, dude, that this business can take working friendships. Not like we all have to be best friends and like we go and our families hang out, but we are all on chat together. We're all in groups together. And when somebody succeeds, we all get pumped for them. When somebody hurts or somebody in their family passes away, we all show sympathy and empathy to each other. But when it comes time to do a simple handshake and fucking in the locker room, and they decide who's over and who's not, and then even other people who would want to come up to you look at you and turn away because they don't want the heat from those other people. Boy, what a fucking toxic. We hear about the music room, the great catering after the show. Yeah, you can take all that, stick it up your ass sideways if you're doing the other fucking thing, because if you're breeding that toxicity to tell a man who deserves just a handshake and a hello, and then you got to go stooge and security walks him out, that's some straight up Mark Carano fucking cockroach level shit, in my opinion, bro.
This is once again the wrestling promotion with the heart. This is a wrestling promotion that cares about people. This is the wrestling promotion that said they were going to have equal pay and rights for everybody. This is one that was going to be more inclusive. This is not very inclusive behavior, especially with somebody that's known. Now, there's a certain way to do it, obviously. There's no way. I know the pariah feeling a lot. So do you. Everybody in the wrestling business has walked into a locker room or a building where they're not made to feel welcome, no matter what level you're on. I've gone into independent locker rooms as early as up to 5 years ago where I was not made to feel welcome, where I was booked to be in the main event, but they felt like they were we're the stars of this, and we run, and it's funny how the ones that are most over and the ones that are the biggest stars that I've ever met have been the most down to earth people in a lot of ways, because they don't have nothing to prove. They don't have nothing to floss or flex or puff their chest or do anything like that. It feels like this with this kind of stuff. Not only, people change, the best and the worst come out of people in the wrestling business, and it's your choice to be which one you want to be. Do you want it to make you a better person after all the shit you look at, or are you going to let these people are eventually going to chew you up and spit you out and treat you like this guy just got treated? Everybody's always looking for a job if you stay within the bubble. So the person you're talking about in OVW will be on the outside looking in somewhere, walk in and have the same exact feeling, which, by the way, is called karma. That all comes back to bite everybody eventually.
And it's sad because it takes nothing to be a better person and take 2 seconds. What is he going to run up the ramp and go do a run in on somebody's match? Like, is that what you think he's going to do? Is he going to go start a fight in the locker room? What does it take?
Yeah, he's not going in the music room or the NBA room or anything like that. He knows not to go in there. So what do you do? What do you do then? And there's a way to do it. I mean, even if this person or people or even Cody came up to him and said, "Hey man, we're trying to keep everything limited back here. You're more than welcome to go out there. We got a corner where people watch the show from the locker room," which doesn't sound like anybody does that. So you'll probably be by yourself, but we appreciate you coming. It's just right now, this is kind of, we're kind of trying to make the show, but you're welcome to stay.
Yeah.
supposedly the smorgasbord has a lot of food afterwards too, so it's not like it's
Well,
rationed off.
they're making an incident so everyone can go, "Psst, did you hear that dude, he used to be OVW guy and he was in the Big Show's thing in All Stooge. He said Big Show and them didn't do shit either. Like he was in Big Show's Mayweather segment, big leagued by him and fucking, other dudes that are ex WWE legends who are just like, yeah, what's up, man? Like, not, So then when they see security walking him out, everyone be like, oh man, what did he do? And da-da-da. He didn't do nothing. He tried to show up and fucking see the guys and maybe get his face seen to have a dark match of one of the 17, and that they decided to make that play instead. That was a smarter play to do. But we'll put over AEW Dark. GGP stealing the show. Did a great job there for everything versus the Super Smash Brothers, whatever you want to call them, Dark Order, Grayson and Uno. And GGP just shows. You just see the difference. How simple and timing and working for a camera, even when he throws on just a chin lock and lays his legs out and to put leverage on, that's the difference in a true professional in the small micro adjustments. And he was right where he needed to be. I hope he gets another shot and I hope they give him the mic. And especially now in the main event, I see a spot where he could be pulled right in there because they're doing this Greek 5 steps of what Hercules or whatever it is match. And they're talking nonstop Greek fucking mythologies. I'm like, there's your guy, even if you had him as a ref, even for that match, or to talk on Greek mythology, give him the mic and he can make that, dude. So I hope he gets another shot, but we're super proud of him getting on camera, doing his thing and doing good work, man.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed right away watching Popping On and even Sean Mulatto, the way they work together, they seem like more like a team than the other two guys. And that's not a knock on those two guys, but when you see usually talent that's considered to be locals or considered to be brought in to put over the contracted talent, they usually let themselves get eaten up a little bit too much. They're waiting, you know what I mean? They're waiting for the veteran or the star or the contracted wrestler to kind of give them an opening. Mm-hmm. Popping On and Mulatto fought all the way through the entire match, no matter what it was. They didn't die. They sold for those guys. They didn't die. But there I said, I messaged you. I said, him and Mulatto look like the contracted guys, and the other two guys look like the locals that were brought in.
Yeah.
That could be the best thing that could happen to Popping On or the worst.
Yeah.
Because if they're figured in politically, they won't bury him, but it's like I always say, do good, but don't do too good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's I'm just saying for him, he exposed like a very lazy, laissez-faire type of we're getting a push and this is dark and let's just go through whatever. They made these guys, now that the bald-headed guy, the Stu Grayson guy seems to be really good. Mm-hmm. He had good chemistry with both those guys. The Evil Uno guy gives me a Dr. Luther vibe when I watch him work.
When they were Super Smash Brothers, they were good because, Uno's the base guy while Grayson does all those stunts, and making sure they're there. And they've kind of gotten away a little bit from that. Grayson's offense, like when he went to do shoulder blocks or pushes on
nothing. Yeah.
That was rough. And, so there was holes in their offense of things look wrestling phony timing wise. Meanwhile, GGP was there for everything, getting them up on the back body drop, spinning elbows. And he didn't get too much in where he looked like, oh, I got to get all this in. And he takes the finish clean. So he did a great job business wise getting over. I just hope that they bring him back and give him some mic time if you really want to see him outshine everybody. And that was GGP at the base level of fundamentals and just being good. That's not even him getting a chance to really shine and show what he can do. So for what he needed to do, he did the right business, got those guys over, got a little bit of offense to show that he's competent, and was there on everything, man. I'm super proud of him.
Yeah, me too. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm obviously going to watch it because he's our friend, he's our boy, he's our brother, but I can see the difference
Sure.
Like if you're watching 17 AEW dark matches, you're like, oh, but that was probably the best AEW dark match I've seen. And they've given some stuff away on there. I like them calling him Papadon rather than Greek God Papadon. It has a better ring to it. I like that.
They gave him good respect too on the mic, being like a Northeast independent, mainstay for decades and stuff. So it really made him like right away, like this is a guy that everybody knows but hasn't had his shot yet, which is the true story of what it is. And then it showed why he's a mainstay main eventer, the immortal champion, the dynasty tag champs, like, and whatever other gold he's got, the bookie monster's hiding down there right now. But I think the bookie monster could get over his AEW dark thing, taking other people's bookings.
That's when Brandy becomes a vampire again. She can manage the bookie monster. I'm wondering, though, this is going to be an excellent case study, because in a certain time in this business, if you had a match like that and you showed you wanted to do business, but you stuck out in a good way, like, oh, this guy's stuff's different. He's legitimate. He looks credible. Even if it's just to get guys over, it's like we know that this guy's not going to just die and get squashed. We can have good matches, and he's a veteran, and he's from the Northeast, and he's Greek, so it's a different look. I'm interested to see if they're going to follow through and maybe not hire him, but constantly bring him back. So for the next 6 months to a year, Papadon will be flowing. Show me that you want to use him, or you're going to fly him into TVs in Chicago or
that
Texas.
big Italian kid they got. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's pretty green. He was FCW. A guy like that is going to get better doing business for GGP and letting him listen. And GGP puts it all together to show how to highlight himself and protect himself, But
this is where feelings instead of facts, feelings instead of business. How are the people who have less experience than Papadon, that are basically just indie-fied talent that don't know any psychology or anything, when he tries to tell them that, how bruised are their egos going to be, and how much are they going to start sharpening up the knives and doing everything that every other carny locker room does?
Well, based on what I had heard about NBA rooms and music rooms, I was hoping not. But now, after what I've heard about being escorted out, I say it's highly possible and probable, as opposed to just listening to him and letting your younger talent learn from him and get better matches out of him, which is what they're doing with Deeb, or where it was doing. So we'll see. But if you guys want to go check it out, you can go to YouTube, AEW Dark this week. It's about 33 minutes in.
3 hours.
3 hours. So, but they did a great job, man. And I hope it leads to more opportunities. And if you want to see GGP, you can check him out on Immortal on July 31st in Rome, New York. We'll be there. I think he's fighting Rhett Titus. So that'll be a good main event, man.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, dude. Anything else going awry before we get into these headlines, Steve Areno, or you want to knock them out?
Not that I can think of, besides the fact that the Meltzer put out that the AEW that's just by habit. He actually put out a WWE tweet that the show in Friday in Houston has sold out.
Oh, really?
So I'm sorry about your tarps. I'm sure you'll be using them soon enough.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I doubt that that's going to last for long with what they got going on. And people might be missing one of the superstars at that show, because there's a possible superstar trade between NXT and Raw. What? A trade? A possible trade might have went down. As noted, Mandy Rose made her debut last night re-debut at NXT last night, appeared in 2 segments. Aaliyah later teamed with Jessie Camilla to lose to Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. After the match, Aaliyah, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But as of this writing, Rose is still listed as a member of the Raw roster, while Aaliyah is a member of the NXT roster. The trade has not been confirmed at this writing, but we will keep you updated. We've talked about this being sent back to developmentals before. How well did that work out for Finn Balor? How well did that work out for Fandango and Breeze? Is this because look at these scenes that we even this week that we saw with Botox and the Beast and tits and biceps, that, you're in my photo shoot, you're in our training session, you're in our promo time, you're in our training session. Oh, you think that's funny? And push her against the wall. Like, that shit's not getting over with anybody. It has no teeth. And do they think that Mandy Rose is still too green in the ring and they're sending her back, or are they bringing up Cross and his lady and they need another hot blonde down there, and will she just be lost in the shuffle?
So you're saying out of Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose that Mandy Rose has less money on her than Dana Brooke?
Or are they sending Mandy back and Dana's just going to be gone possibly?
Who knows? Who knows? It's a very strange thing. Very, very strange. And what just laughing about the trade, like it's actual like executives going back and forth, not just be like, oh, she's going to NXT. Well, who did she trade for? Who's going up?
Her name's Aaliyah, but I don't think it's like Aaliyah Rey Mysterio's little daughter. It's I can't remember who it was off the top of my head.
Well,
I mean,
we're definitely making memorable moments. In
there's
WWE.
nobody. I mean, Jesse Camilla, Caden Carty, Casey Kett, and Zaro. Like, I can't even picture their faces of. And I was watching the show of who these girls are. They're so indie, low level, shine, shimmer. Back at the Berwyn Eagles Club tomorrow, that there's no money. I watched it. There's no money written on any of those girls to come up, and if any, the one is just like the Iconics, Billy Kay, but a lower level. It's like also bringing up Shotzi Blackheart after you get rid of Ruby Riott, somebody you put 5 years into to actually get the WWE style is actually starting to yield some benefits. Get rid of her. We got another one down there. Instead of bringing up Shotzi to learn from her and have the same look, they're just going to swap out blonde for blonde, green-haired girl for green-haired girl. And if somebody's got to go jump in that hole, they're just going to throw them there, bro.
Oh, and the Shotzi Blackheart is like, you were making fun of the fact that she sells certain things on eBay or something to fans. Like, like, did they not know about that before? Or?
Yeah, I mean, you can go find all the nudes you want and little OnlyFans where they got to show their boxes or whatever it is. Fine, look at it all day long, but then don't come out here and act like you're holier than thou on a bunch of shit. So, or making fun of Jericho, which was funny enough.
Who did that? Shotzi Blackheart did that.
Yeah, she when Jericho jumped off, fell off the cage onto the cardboard and porta pits, she did a reenactment of it while she's in NXT of her just at home falling on her bed, and like then Jericho stung her back this week on some bullshit. But she's the one who does the same dumbass neck breakers on the goddamn apron, or puts a garbage can on her head and does a coffin drop blind. It's just like, they don't get it. And the reality is she gets over in her entrance with green hair and a fucking tank and doesn't need to do any of that stuff. But Indy's going to do what Indy's going to do, bro.
This is a great example, because I remember somebody making fun of the Jericho cage pump, and I'll say it again, and I'll probably say it a million times. I'd rather him not fall off the top of the cage backwards, but how incredibly hard it is, no matter what you're landing on, and what can go wrong in a spot, falling off the cage, which is legitimately 15, 20 feet up in the air. Even if you're landing on spray painted, like whatever it's supposed to look like what's a sewer grate or whatever that is, and it's foam underneath. I'd rather you do that than say, oh, well, you should have landed on the ramp and just like the real ramp and taken a back bump 20 feet.
Right.
That we've become so disconnected, and that kind of stuff.
He's really on production there for botching the way it looked and the way it cut to show the foam, and the diamond plate was actually just cardboard. They had it shot the wrong way instead of an upshot to watch him fall and not expose what he's falling onto. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, is this actually her falling into the bed, the gif of what she did, or just somebody falling into the bed?
Is it she got green hair?
No, regular hair. No tats either. So
probably not her then.
Well, you know, he's slightly influential in AEW and in other parts of the wrestling industry, so you might have just talked yourself or gift yourself out of a job.
How dare you? She is indispensable in this business, bro.
Well, I'll tell her why. When they start going on the road, you can leave the tank in Orlando because it's not coming with you. That tank is not, with the budget cuts and gas prices, they are not loading that thing onto the trailer.
And now what's going to happen to Werewolf, to Amber Moon, bro?
She got released once already, right?
Once, and then came back and was with Shotzi, and now they brought up her and the other chick on the road that wasn't even her partner, who was re-debuting. So everything is just a schmoz, and it shows that they don't even care about building their own talent to get over on the main roster, just plucking them. And now.
Well, how about the fact that you got the girl with the green hair of the tank who looks like, it's supposed to be Mad Max or whatever it's supposed to be. And then you got literally another one of the iconic clones with who does it looks like she picked her up on the way from the hair salon. They have nothing. This is the female version of Aleister Black and Ricochet. Like what?
Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah. And that worked out well. I think that, if we
everybody's doing great after that.
Oh, speaking of Aleister Blizak, let's see here. Where is that one? Malachi Black reveals his original idea for his character in NXT. It said, it's funny. The reason I did this is because how I wanted WWE version to be. When I started, I wanted to come in as a heel, and Triple H wanted me as a face. If anyone has ever seen any work of me on the indies, you would know that my gimmick I was portraying in the WWE was an amplified version of what I did on the indies. That's why they wanted me. But I wanted to be heel because I was coming off a heel run on the independents, but then Hunter had this idea of making a face, a stoic character. So I had to switch the character from this obnoxious, sadistic, possessed by demons guy to the same possessed by demons devil guy, but then having remorse. And I have to find middle ground with that. What? And I had to find middle ground that would someone who is like that could find remorse and show remorse by being stoic and having a problem expressing his emotions. He says all this, was it on his wife's Twitter or Twitch channel? He hosted a stream on his wife, Zelina Vega's Twitch channel, and talked about the vignette. Dude, that alone kills me. Just that alone, that he's out there talking on Twitch about his gimmicks and back and forth in between to earn bits, which I get it. Everybody's got to earn. He's not protected. He doesn't see his Undertaker 1990s value, that it's more important millennial wise to go talk to Marks online to get some bits and not protect his gimmick right after he debuts in AEW to just humanize himself on the internet. That he is not a character that should be humanized. And now the more you see him on these little things doing everyday stuff and then talking the ins and outs, it kills any believability of what he's supposed to be.
I totally agree with that. It is a very maddening thing to see them just undo whatever TV or pay-per-views or whatever invested, time and effort that they put into it. He seems like a guy that does get it, but I don't know why he's doing this. Is it a thing of youth? Is it just something you're going to see? You're going to see. You're just going to see it years down the line that the level, you can be mature to a certain point in certain situations, but with this and maybe the money, maybe it's just like, maybe these people are still making $5-10 grand a month off of just, I've watched one of his Twitch streams. I'm telling you, dude, dead air. Like he's reading the comment. It's literally like I watched the 2-minute stretch because I'm like, he was talking about something with metal and stuff. I was like, well, this dude's a pretty smart guy. And of course, being a cat lover, he's automatically over with me. Not right. That I want to see that when I look at an Undertaker character. So let's just say right there. But when I'm looking at the Twitch stream, and Paige was the same thing. You sent me a couple clips back then where she's literally just.
She's standing there.
Hey, baby girl. Like, and they're cheering $15,000. Like, what is going on?
Stand there in a onesie that looks like a rat, like Ralphie's rabbit suit, and go, baby girl, I want you to gift 40 subs to, if we gift 40 subs, then I'll answer a question. I'm like, what the fuck? So she's holding people up for $200 every time that to answer one question. So there you guys go. Twitch.tv/Hameen Media. You can subscribe now. You can cheer bits, whatever you want to do. We're approved for affiliate once again, but use your Google One or your Amazon Prime and stay off of those sites that want to ruin their own fucking push, who are already making $250,000 and subscribe to the guys who talk real shit.
Is she still under contract? I think she's still there.
She is.
That is the strangest. I may never want to see anybody lose their job, but out of everybody that's being cut,
there's something, bro. There's something. I mean, obviously, sexually wise, she's a honeypot, right? She's a straight up definition of a trapper who could use information against you, and also doesn't care about how free she is sexually. Obviously, with multiple fucking jamming her vibrator up her ass and getting banged by two guys on camera who are on the roster, and more masturbation videos. And it, like, so if that's what's out there now, imagine what she's done on the side to use as blackmail, where they want to let her go, but they can't. Plus her family is indie Carney 101. I've heard some pretty fucking sketchy stories about that crew as well. So it's not like she's a babe in the woods compared to other NXT hires that they might have had. She came in probably at 15 years old, looking like a supreme worker, knowing where her money is, whether it's between her legs in the ring or on OnlyFans. You know what I mean?
I have an off. It's about Twitch, but it's a kind of off topic.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking forever, and one of my favorite things are the 80s love songs and stuff like that. And I've talked about doing a station before. Mm-hmm. Is there a law with the licensing? Because I heard mixed, like conclusions on this. If it's 30 years old or more, you can stream it. You can do Twitch with a song that old. And then I heard somebody saying after the 30 years, there's a 76-year add-on or like extension, basically perpetuity.
Yeah.
To do that. So I'm not going to be able to play any 80s songs or get bits or any of that. And I don't want to try it because I don't want to go through what you went through. Not that I utilize Twitch, but it's good to have it in my back pocket. In case
they haven't hammered us. As long as I'm not showing AEW or anything streaming like in a pop-up window, and I just sit here with big ass beard and sing along with whatever song I feel like listening to at the time. And usually I'll have a mix going or just put it up on commercials. Though I'm still able to accept bits or get subscriptions or whatever it is people are doing to be generous. But then if you were to go back and listen, the whole show's muted out wherever there's any music in there. So instead of striking right now, they're just muting those shows. So it's like a live watch, a long little party. But how long till they cancel that party?
Benny, Spectrum canceled your party just now. Well, I don't care. I mean, the bits are great and all that stuff, but just to be able to do that and have an outlet and do whatever and play the songs would be kind of cool.
Meanwhile,
even as I'm editing video or something, if I got video up and I'm editing in Final Cut or DaVinci Resolve, or if I'm working on something, to have the music up would be good, because there has to be some kind of like, I mean, you got to have some kind of entertainment value. I can't just be like, and that's literally, dude, 2 minutes of him just reading I'm like, and all I see is like, I don't know what the conversion of bits to money, but there's lots of green pluses and green spades with the whatever or symbols or I mean, he popped off probably in the 2 minutes I watched $100.
Must be nice. Twitch.tv/Hameen Media. People in chat are saying Alexa Bliss, they're letting them do a limited amount of cameos before Money in the Bank. So she had a spot for 8, 2 of which have been filled. $800 cameo from Alexa Bliss. You can go to cameo.com/BenHameen/Vince Russo/Stevie Richards and get one at a much better price that will mean much, much more. But yeah, man, I wish they would protect their creative. They just are very short-sighted in not seeing the true value of him actually being a big, big superstar.
Let me ask you a question off of that.
Yep.
Do you think Braun gets it now? after answering the thing that one of your producers put up on Twitter, do you think Braun went back and listened or watched or was listening and watching and finally kind of gets what we were saying to him for the past 2 to 3 years?
Maybe.
But he's still putting shit up on Instagram showing everything. I saw it.
Right. Like there's not a lot of like these weird shots with him in booty shorts. I mean, the elephant thing happened after he got released, but like all of those infractions seem to be lessened now, I think is what you're saying, compared to when they were under contract in the bubble. Is he actually outside and his eyes are like the lenses are off, you know what I mean? And you can see, I hope so. I had read a story that he went to an indie show. Actually, I think it was Dave Hero reporting and like saying that, that he sat there on the hard ass wood bleachers on the side for 2 hours to watch an indie show. Is that him being a worker going, I know what I said about the indies in the past and now I got to make money here. So I'm going to fucking sit and do my time and show the indies so I can get out there and make my money. Or is it really genuine and like he really wants to sit through 2 hours of indie matches? I'll let you decide.
Well, you'd have to pay me to sit through 2 hours of indie matches, so I know what he said.
Shit. Released WWE superstar teases his next move. Buddy Murphy has changed his profile picture and all social media handles to 8/31/21 in expiration date of his 90-day compete clause. He was just on with Van Vliet. He says the 90 days is to kill all the buzz and hype if you don't have any momentum. When you go somewhere else, I'm not going to blow my load in the first week. I have to expand it over 3 months. That's why I drop a progress photo. Then I drop something else. I feel they hoard a lot of talent, and now they're saturating the talent. It's a business move I believe they're making. If you send out 3 guys, they can do what they want. If you send out 40 guys, the work gets cut. But wrestling can boom again. Now the pandemic is ending. More talent can go to the indies, and the fans can see it all. I mean, what's this guy going to do to get himself over aside from the amount of B12 that he's on right now, posting selfies on? Did we ever connect with his character? Can he wrestle? Absolutely. But I lead you to FTR, almost identical. Zero emotion, zero capability to connect. They think they're the greatest of all time, haven't proven anything, have had 0 epic matches that will go down in history as like, dude, that's the one for the ages. And Buddy Murphy felt uncomfortable kissing Aaliyah on camera and things along those lines. If you're not comfortable even in that, then what is their comfort in? You think wrestling's going to get somebody over in this day and age, or of what you can do based on what the Bucks versus FTR in the first match are going to do everything, and then you're going to go out there and do what? Do what to wow them? Do what to have a storyline? All right, do you have 5 storylines in your head right now that are thinking to show you how, as somebody who needs to be empathetic or be a hero knight in shining armor or who you can get heat with? No, in their mind, they're like, I can't wait to go face Pac and have a Meltzer 5-star banger that nobody remembers in a month and a half. So bubble, big time bubble, in my opinion, bro.
Well, it'll be Fighter Fest Night 3.
Yeah.
It'll be the big. He's in a very tough spot. I wouldn't want to be one of these people. Well, maybe it'd be easier, because the money's there. If you go somewhere else, you're not going to have to, unless you go to Impact, which you're going to go feast or famine at Impact.
Yeah.
But to look at that, and also he's Australian, so I don't know if he has a visa that's expiring. It's a very important thing to note. The Iconics, while one of them's married, but is the other one.
Neither can work because of the no work visa.
Yeah. So what do you do? Even if you're working indies, you're not officially getting a work visa as an independent wrestler. You almost have to get a real job to have them sponsor you. And I don't think many small businesses or even medium-sized businesses have the budget after losing so much from the lockdowns. Are they going to take that chance to keep you there? Is Impact on it? They don't have the money. AEW might do it, but then you got 17 matches on Dark, which most of them are multi-person matches. I must have seen 50 or 60 people on the payroll, by the way, that aren't on Dynamite. These are completely separate people. So how much is the payroll there? And are you willing to hire somebody you would have to get a work visa for, which is not cheap.
I agree. And at what value is anybody like, we need Buddy Murphy? Shout out to the guy in the ring. He's had some great matches, but dude, if you're not gonna, they give you the fucking Romeo and Juliet West Side Story thing, and you are uncomfortable with being the romantic male lead to kiss the girl who's 19. We got issues, bro. Like there's issues there. Keep wrestling, see how well that goes.
Well, do you think he'll bring him back for a cheaper price? Do you think that the strategy?
I got to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know the guy, and I'm not trying to talk shit on him, like F that dude or whatever. I don't see, like, the guy's awesome, a great worker. There's no money written on him. There's no charisma. There's no connection. When they did give him something emotional to connect to, it went over like a fart in church. And then if you're not going to embrace that, what do I see? Are you going to be the Irish Warrior? Like, what is it supposed to?
Well, he's kind of tough. He's Australian. So,
well, whatever, Australian Warrior. Like, what is there that's going to fucking really get over? I don't know. I just don't see it, man. I hope he's got something. Maybe he's got something that he's been sitting on, but from the acting side and the ability to come through the camera and be like, I'm into that, dude, I just don't see that there.
I'm wondering if, I'll tell you what, you better run back to Australia if Vince sits you down, brings you back to be the new Outback Jack. That would be, and I could see that 75-year-old man doing that, like thinking about this Outback Jack gimmick, and it never really.
At the same time, now it's wrestle crap and it's garbage, but that's what usually gets over, and not necessarily an Outback Jack. But what if he was like, what's the guy who got stung by the stingray? Who was the animal guy?
Steve Irwin.
He
looks like him a little bit.
Yeah. And he does the Jake the Snake bit.
Brings a stingray to the ring, and the stingray stings everybody.
That's cold.
Hey, by the way, I was going to say somebody said he fires all the Australians because he hates them. Maybe Vince is one of the conspiracy theory people that believe Australia doesn't exist.
Ooh, I like that. You can have a kangaroo on a leash, says Mike Martin. I think that'd be good.
PETA won't come after you at all.
Oh, shit. We were talking earlier about, ideas with what's going to happen with the fight stuff. But Arturo Ruas comments on Shane and Vince's involvement in WWE Underground. He was just released. And I know that the English barrier was tough for him to kind of overcome. He says, let's see how McMahon was involved behind the scene. He says, yes, he was. He trained as well. Me and him, this is Shane. We have a friend in common, Renzo Gracie, and the Gracie family is friends with my family in Brazil, the Jaoud family. I talk with Renzo often, and Shane McMahon, trains jiu-jitsu with Renzo Gracie. When I met him like years before at WrestleMania and catering, he did that match. I was like, Shane, your punches are cool. And he was punching me, and we had a talk. And I met him after on Raw Underground.
Cool the punches are not cool. God.
I know I was going to throw it to you. He's amazing, and he always wants to help you and teach you. He's always helping to produce matches, and because of the jiu-jitsu background, I felt that he was trying to build me in there in that environment. It was fun, and he knew all the moves I used to do. He was calling the matches on the fly because he trained. It was a good experience. Let's see one thing. Joe would reveal whether or not this was Shane's vision for pro wrestling. He said, he never told me that it was his idea, Joe noted. Vince was on the set. He came on the first week. He was looking at the papers and talking to people. Shane was all the time with many producers there. I don't believe that one person had the idea. They have a team. They talk. They bring up ideas. I played. I had fun. I just wanted to read that for you. You don't have to comment on that part. But how about Shane's fun punches?
Oh, they're great. I mean, they're great. If you like, if you're a big fan of future CTE and dementia, yeah, they're great. I mean, the owner of the company and his family are the worst workers in the company. Shane's a real MMA type of enthusiast. So I would not think he's a tough guy. and he can fight and he can do all those things. And it shows in a fake wrestling match how good he is at real fighting because he hits you with every punch. And his dad is an absolute clod in the ring and cannot even like do anything without tripping over his feet.
Yeah.
So big shout out to them.
Anything you want to add on the origins of it or no?
The origins of Raw Underground or the origins of Shane's punches? I will say, like, I'm looking, we only have so much time and energy throughout the day, and it has to be directed in a certain way, and we have to maximize it and use it as much as we can to move forward. But if you're standing around and a team of people are working on Raw Underground and that's the final product, yeah, everybody, like you say, needs to go. If you need a team of people to figure out what Fight Club, has anyone seen Fight Club? Like, that's all you got to do. Spend 2 hours, watch Fight Club, rinse, repeat. That's it.
That easy, bro. And they screwed it up from Big Ninja and Omos to whatever they were trying to do when they had Hurt Business run in and beat the shit out of everybody who was supposed to be a shoot fighter. It was dead in the water right there. And
No
it
offense
was cool.
against Shane either, but the commentary thing was done on Sunday Night Heat. Didn't work out so well. Shane's commentary gave it it gave it energy, but a goofy energy, I think.
And they pussied out too because they had the hot girls on the stripper pole. One complaint during post speaking out Me Too movement, that was gone too. So all of the fucking anti-underground, what it should have been as a FU to the mainstream, they SJW'd themselves right out of it as well.
Yeah. And Dana White, don't they still have ring girls in UFC?
Yes, they do.
Okay. So you could have just I mean, you're willing to go radio silent and push through on the Jimmy Uso DUI thing, but you're not willing to go like, let's play nice over here.
Yeah. They should have gotten Ariane Celeste in them. Like, I bet those girls aren't exclusive. I bet they could have fucking had them too. Brutal. Spoiler alert, Stevie, on plans for John Cena's WWE TV return. Cena's reportedly scheduled to return to WWE TV this month following the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. As we know, Cena's been expecting to wrestle at SummerSlam on August 21st in Vegas. While it's been reported multiple sources that Cena's still a go for SummerSlam, there's been no word on when he'll actually return to TV to set that match up until now. In an update, Fightful Select reports that the working plan for Cena's return July 23rd SmackDown and is scheduled to take place in Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, you're going to mix them in on SmackDown. So does that mean already, because of this spoiler, that the big dog,
that I am the head of the table, the tribal chief,
is going over on Edge clean, so Cena can come back and challenge him right there? Or are we going to get Edge Cena?
Not quite sure. I'm looking at Taiwan as a country memes, trying to find the right
one. Yeah, man. And because we talked about that, the interesting thing, I mean, I put him in against Roman Reigns because Roman has done a great job, but now the Jimmy Uso thing is kind of fucking things up, obviously, but he is going to get cheered because of the good job he did as a heel, and that's just the weirdness of wrestling. And Cena's going to come back as babyface Fruity Pebbles, and people are going to hate on him because of him cutting a Mandarin promo to kowtow to China of pressure because of greed, money over a shitty Fast and Furious movie. And really, that's just front cover load for the fact of whatever psychopathic communist nationalism is going on, where they have to feel that they hold reins over Taiwan. Like, you know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see how well he's received, and that the wrestling fans know this is for a quick B12 shot in the arm of a dying brand, of trying to save it. It's not for Cena to come back and relive some glory that he needs. He's doing a favor here to try and save a sinking ship.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Now, if the people boo him, which we would speculate, or even if they bring signs, which will probably be confiscated with the John Cena, with the XINA, spelled like the president, they'll get booed, but I think they won't know why, because there's so much in the bubble and it's so long ago. People don't forget. And especially if you're bringing him back to a place like Texas,
Yeah.
I'm not going to forget. But the WWE may not even understand why he's getting booed. Because basically what he did was that was a very, very like, what's the word? I used the reference and I used the analogy of the British child on Saddam's lap. That when Saddam was holding them hostage and he was smiling, bouncing on the knee, and the kid's like, just staring off. I'll see if I can find that one. That's about
I forgot about that pick until you just said it, but it came right in my head as clear as could be.
But you remember that, but you don't remember the girl's name who buried Jericho, and neither did I. Let's see if I can find it. That's a famous one.
Oh, yep.
See if I can find a clearer picture. I mean, that kid looks like he has a stick up his ass right now. Waiting to look at him.
Yeah, he probably got raped by Uday not long after that.
By the way, my uncle John and my cousin Johnny is my financial guy, CEO of Stevie Corp. My uncle John looks just like Saddam Hussein.
Nice.
He's not with us anymore, but he did look like Saddam.
And he had the big stash.
Oh, he had the black hair and the stash, everything. Nice. Bought him a beret one year.
Give me a hand flash in front of the camera.
You can't see me.
So
this is like I'm going back to I'm just going to get like the 24-inch iMac that has the upgraded webcam. Or go back to the MacBook Air because it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, this is one I wanted to get your opinion on because nobody knows more about this than you. And I like this guy a lot. And I hope that there's a spot for him. I don't know how much going forward in the next year he's going to do. But Trent Beretta, Trenty Locks, posted this last night from his doctor. He said Fighter Fest tonight and showed the x-ray from his neck using surgery in the front. Looks like 3 screws and a plate. I'm not really sure what those spacers are in the front there, Stevie. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on.
Well, that's a cervical fusion plate right there. Okay. So he got cut in the front, which is good, not the back. Okay. That's an Arn Anderson cut that really just kills all your nerves. I messaged him. I think it was after last Friday Locker Room. We talked about it, and he said he's feeling great. He said it was easy and he's recovering, but. He got dropped on his head. He didn't say exactly where, but I did see the one Pentagon pile driver look like it caught him too. So I don't know if that was the one out of many that finally got him.
Yeah,
but happens way too much. This is a guy who has the look, has everything, and doesn't need. He should be in a storyline. He doesn't need to be working these types of matches. He doesn't need to be in a tag team either. No. And doing the goofy shit. He can do some cool stuff.
He's one of the few guys that they signed out of the gate from the Indies who had superstar power written all over him of like, this guy hasn't had a chance, leading man, good looks, gets it in the ring, gets it with character, and then let's put him with the goofs and his indie buddy who doesn't look like he's ready to be in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, and then he's the one who has to shoulder the load, take the bumps, and fucking be the star, and that kind of shit happens. Instead of protecting for the right reasons, but have all the arcade matches you want and see why are things going wrong? I don't know.
Well, hopefully he'll still get paid. He'll still be under contract. He won't secretly just to get his contract expired. He'd be the one out of all 3 of them I would keep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of that group.
Most value, no doubt about it, out of there. And I think we're going to see a lot of non-contract renewals possibly on 8/31/21 when 90 days are up, man, because I mean, just watching that AEW Dark show, we're pumped for GGP, but there was so many. I mean, there's a lot of guys I work indies with. Fox Vineyard was on there looking great. I'm glad these guys are getting a show. Rick Recon, that moron, got a shot, and, they're getting exposure and working hard, and hopefully
Power Washers unite and get some time.
That would be the Power Washers would be a good click.
Yeah, but what are we looking at? You told the story about the 2 OVW guys, and Rip got banned as well because they got paid $80 instead of the $2 or $250 that they were promised, which that's still like you're losing money going down there and doing what you need to do, or using your miles or whatever way you got to get down there. And living in Florida, I know the Rib is probably, they don't use a lot of people who already live in Florida. They'll make you come down
sure and
bow at the altar.
Down where? Alexa Bliss to release WWE Superstar. I'll always be there for you. Alexa Bliss said, can't wait to see how Buddy Murphy rebuilds his pro wrestling career.
Isn't that her former fiance? Okay.
Former boyfriend, fiance, while she's engaged to this fucking.
And she just said a little while ago to get out of her DMs.
Yeah. Get out of
it. Wasn't he DMing her or something?
I think so. Maybe something along those lines. But
don't put that on TV.
Yep. Yeah, right. Don't put that on TV. A cheating dude with her little cuck rock star pink haired boyfriend or fiance.
He almost beat up a burglar. You should be scared.
Should be. Almost did it. He was gonna if it wasn't for X. Let's see. My convo is from Chris Van Vliet. He talks about what it was next for him after his release, thoughts on Tommy End and AEW, and why it was his idea to lose his first name and go by Murphy and much more. That's from Chris Van Vliet. And Lexi retweeted that. Lexi Kaufman, some might know as Alexa Bliss. Thanks for the kind words, Matt. Always been there, and I'll always be there for you. Can't wait to see what you do next at Murphy. So, dude, no, but like even in the 30 days, just to get these exclusives with Van Vliet or whatever, this group of people are not smart enough to know that the 90 days is the time to build their either mystique or intrigue or leave a hook of like, wait to see what's next. I got something big planned. Instead, it's back and forth. Love you, Lexi. Love you, Bailey. Bailey puts over Tyler Breeze's school. Did she get hurt in Tyler Breeze's ring? Did that part of the story come out? Is now that will WWE cover her medical bills because she's not training at NXT and she's training outside as an independent contractor, so they're not liable. All of these little things never get discussed when it comes to the bubble of, oh, we're on TV, but love you, buddy, Maddie, Lexi, Bailey, Randy. You like that one. So
if I have something to say to you, this is something that always bothers me. And it might be me getting old, almost 50 years old and not really caring much for social media as each passing day goes on. And I think that's a really good thing, not for my business, but for my personal life.
Sure.
To just not even care about social media.
Follow at Atlanta Water Treatment Center.
Follow at Off the Grid Goals on Twitter. I might have to look at that one. But here's the thing. What is I'm genuinely fascinated with whatever disease or mental or emotional like disconnect it is to not pick up the phone. And I'm convinced that she didn't text him directly or call him or message him in any way to let him know this. She tweeted him this so the whole world could see her tweet this to him. So it has no gravity or sincerity or just a wholesome type of, hey, I really just wanted to reach out, see how you're doing, and just keep your head up. It's going to be okay. To tweet that is virtue signaling and look at me and I'm such a nice person, and it feels like it's everything but the intention that it really actually might have been.
Well, from now on, if you want to talk to me, I'm going to need you to go directly through Chris Van Vliet to get any message that you want to me, Stevie.
So we're going to do an interview through Chris Van Vliet, and he's a good kid. I like him. I wish they didn't chop him so much in the ring that day, but that's what I mean. Like when someone has something to say to someone else, why do they tweet it? Why did they put it up on? It's like all right, it's like Sasha Banks is off TV. We're speculating on this because she liked an anti-vaccination tweet. Like that's like the like of a tweet is now in this world, like tells us all we need to know about you.
How about this on the other side of that, even personally, do you mind if I stooge off like past wrestling relationship for you or no?
Sure. I don't. Yeah.
So let's say Daphne, like whatever that was in the back. Imagine how your wife now would be like, "Hey, Daphne, I'm always here for you. You're tweeting that in public." yeah, how well would that go over with Christy? Stab, stab, stab. Like how, like, think about that part of it. She's actually sure she might have, feelings for him because of past relationship and care, and it might ended well and they're friends, but like, what does that make your husband look like when you're saying that shit in public, or your future fiance who's already looks like, a big supporter of June, to fucking to do that shit in public?
Well, maybe if Murphy tries to rob their house,
Then he'll learn
it's
a lot.
finally go time. That's the line. That's where he draws the line. Dude, I don't know. I have as I get older, I do have a very old school things that I was even unaware of with pictures of fans and stuff like that, you have to think about how the other person feels. We both are married to what we call civilians. They're outside the business. So we have to look at it from their point of view of what a relationship or even a marriage looks like. Not us, where we're like, oh, it's just, because we've played parts and acted in angles where it's not us, but it's just whatever. It's fake wrestling. But to a civilian, even something as seemingly sterile as her tweeting that she's wishing Buddy Murphy good luck, but then weeks earlier putting him on notice that he's DMing her. It's really strange.
Mm-hmm. It is like, oh, come here, get away. That's a classic Bill Cosby bit, Adam and Eve, that's in all of our DNA.
And let me tell you something. The shortest women are the most dangerous.
You gotta be.
When I say something and she turns around and I see her eyes and she starts coming at me, I'm backing up. I need some space.
I hope you're not upset that I stooge off. I just had to get like
no, that's dude, wrestling relationships always work out.
They're always
great. Yeah, there's always a good ending.
Always positive. Big update on WWE debuting new Raw and SmackDown sets, Stevie. Chief Brand Officer Stephanie McMahon, you might have heard her, has confirmed that the new SmackDown set will be revealed this Friday night. It was previously reported the new Raw and SmackDown sets are being worked on, and they would be revealed when the company returned the road for touring. McMahon spoke with Michael Orr of Forbes, or Lorray, I guess, and confirms that the new set for SmackDown will be used Friday in Houston. So no more Thunderdome. It was noted that WWE sets will utilize more digital and augmented reality integration. Superstars' entrance will be more dynamic and captivating thanks to a higher resolution set for the Trons. This will result in more of a theatrical presentation. They have had some cool NXT ones that, like Frankie Monet, when she comes out, she just stands there in the center, but behind her, it's like red carpet, Hollywood Grauman's Chinese Theater, like with the lights and all that, and it goes backwards on the Z-axis, so it looks like she's moving forward while she's just standing there. I wonder if they're going to do more interesting things like that. I really got to put over WWE production people, whether they're Full Sail or whatever, production Jimmy and Borash doing, Aleister Black stuff, just grade A quality production, digital production. So I hope that it is some new and innovative motion graphics. But when it comes to the augmented reality and here comes
I am the head of the table, the tribal chief,
and we've got a black Roman Reigns fucking looking like he's being crucified like Christ instead of screaming, or we have digital
he got shot in the back with a shotgun, right?
Yeah. Or digital birds coming out of Riddle's crotch, or Asuka masks. It's cute and like interesting, but it's not used to its full potential, I don't think.
Here's my interpretation when they say more of a theatrical. There's two ways to look at it. Either it's going to be stripped down for the actual physical travel of the set, and it's all going to be like After Effects or Blender. It's going to be what we see on TV, but in the live show, you're not going to see much of anything. So the set's going to be essentially smaller. It's going to be a higher resolution Titantron, but it's not going to be the big, like all the way up and down to the ceiling, because they have to break it down, move it, and transport it.
Right.
The other thing I'm thinking of is the set will be bigger because they may have to worry about attendance. so they have less seats to fill.
That's interesting.
That's two ways of putting it. Now, I would say they're going to try to get as many people in there as possible, so they may have a smaller set, more seating, because they got to make their money back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm leaning towards. That at home you'll see the holograms, you'll see all this other stuff, but you won't see it live.
Or they'll have some augmented reality point, and you'll see everybody in the arena holding their phones up to look through the augmented reality while they watch somebody through their phone. So
I'm going to pay. I'm just saying, I'm going to pay $250 or whatever to watch the matches and take it all in. But no, I'm going to actually just go like this. I can't see your phone. Like I can essentially just watch it at home. That's what I wanted. I don't know, man. It's all lipstick on a pig. It's all just tricks. You have to fix the actual product.
There you go. That's where I was going to drive towards too. Perfect. Like these are all little things that are distractions instead of actually looking at the heart and soul of what needs to happen. Creative, captivating storylines, larger than life characters who get it, who aren't over scripted, who can connect with the audience, people that we want to believe in, sex appeal. Real fucking stories that have gone on through Shakespeare, Greek mythology, and that are the it of man since the beginning of time. Instead, we get Alpha Academy, we get fucking boogs and a goddamn foot bath. You know, like we'll have virtual foot baths, Stevie.
Are they going to have big? I wonder if they're going to have like let's go to the movies, but it's like, let's go get vaccinated and jab. Dude, I can see them totally being vaccination centers, and for you get 50% off your WWE ticket if you show your vaccination card. Anything to get over virtue signal and fill the houses while making some money.
What do you think about augmented reality Clydesdale?
I think it's all. I'm Vince won't go for it. I don't want the real thing. Just
he'll get the Clydesdale out there.
He'll get the Clydesdale Nissan Versa rental and be shocked when the horse can't drive.
I need digital horse shit, piles of it.
Oh man, this doesn't sound promising. And she's speaking to Forbes, and it's just like, what are you trying to do? Oh, by the way, Forbes totally paid. I mean, these are all paid stories, interviews, all these things are paid for. The ESPYs have to be for WWE to win an award for a fake match at the ESPYs should tell you that it completely exposes everything about it.
Yeah, that's $50,000. Yeah, and ESPN is so destroyed too. They've killed themselves from the inside.
Well, I mean, that's a whole nother story. They are eating their own and doing all that shit. But to have Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair standing together telling you our match was completely fake at WrestleMania. We won an award for it. It's so fake. We know it's fake. We know it's scripted or it's whatever it is, but you don't have to smack us across the face every single day with it.
Every day, whether it's their own social media infractions or their own pats on the back for some marketing ploy bullshit, man. It's sickening. All the digital augmented horse shit isn't going to fucking do anything except until they get an award for best augmented show of 2022 instead of, it's not about the show itself.
The Augies for augmented reality shows.
Pop. Candy Cartwright files to dismiss multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Matt Riddle. I was
just laughing that she lost millions of dollars of income over. That was what the lawsuit was. I'm not laughing at the actual events or whatever, but when you say I lost millions of dollars of income as an indie worker, I'm like, okay, worker's gonna work.
Yep. Also known as Samantha Tavel, has reportedly dismissed her multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Riddle. Court documents show that Cartwright filed to dismiss the lawsuit on Monday, according to TMZ Sports. Randy, there is no word on the two sides reached a monetary settlement. The parties have put their past and are focused on their future. Randy said Cartwright's attorney John Schwartzinski in a statement. As noted back in October, Riddle's hashtag speaking out accuser Cartwright filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Riddle, WWE Evolve, and Gabe Sapolsky. This lawsuit came after Riddle filed a lawsuit against Cartwright back in September, which you can read at this link. Cartwright filed to sue each party for $10 million for various damages, emotional stress, attorney's fees, and court costs. WWE and Sapolsky were dismissed from the lawsuit back in late March until U.S. District Court, North District of Illinois, Judge Manis S. Shah dismissed WWE and Sapolsky without prejudice for the lack of personal jurisdiction. While Riddle's motion to dismiss was denied, Judge Shah ruled that Tavel failed to demonstrate specific personal jurisdiction lies over WWE. In a sworn affidavit, WWE stated they had no involvement in the May 2018 wrestling event and didn't even employ Riddle at the time. So
so it wasn't millions in income, it was millions of everything, having emotional damages, punitive damages, lawyers' fees, but also lost income was in that statement, I think.
Yeah, and he was also saying she was real stalkerish and doing a bunch of crazy chick shit too. So this ends probably about as how you thought it was going as well. But the Shah, I'm glad to see he's got he's back. But no, rest in peace, Shah. Any
what are we looking at there? Like, do you think that WWE paid her off, or they settled, or they just said we're not going to be able to win this? What do you think?
I think she just folded. I don't think there's a payoff there. I don't see where she's involved in cheating while he's married. It wasn't him picking up a rat. She's in the business. She knows she's a worker. She knows what's going on. Whether it was some sexual assault in front of the boys where they felt too comfortable, what have you, that's one thing. But this wasn't a one-off speaking out movement. This was an affair, and now she wants to sue for it like she's a babe in the woods. Ain't gonna happen, Jackson. Any good memories of the Shah?
Yes. I mean, definitely. Once again, not quite as stiff as Shane McMahon, but he laid in the rubber mallets to the top of your head. Yeah, that's a shame. That's a guy who, even after ECW, got himself in really good shape. He worked with TNA for a little bit and did some stuff, and then just passed away. I mean, it's crazy how many people we lose in this business. It's like a blink of an eye.
Yeah. He was a guy who was that lower undercard. Maybe he'd be on the show, maybe he wouldn't, like a Chili Willy or somebody like that. But when you saw him, you're like, fuck yeah, Shah's on. I always got pumped when I used to see him, man. And, that lower card heel that people just wanted to be a part of the show and liked the guy because he was different than every other fucking muscle bound, tanned up, gassed up dude. I always had and influenced, what I did too. I got to say that, man. Too bad we never got to work together. He was gone before I was probably even in the biz, man. 2 stories left, Stevie. Left one or right one? Left Twix or right Twix?
Which one is not the Bellas article?
They're both not the best news for the people involved.
Okay, left.
Okay, left. Twix says
because Hack Myers was from the last house on the left.
Last house on the left. All right. Alberto Del Rio sends a warning to Paige and threatens to expose past incidents. Former WWE champ Alberto Del Rio, aka El Patron, recently appeared on Hannibal TV and has issued a message to his ex-fiance, former WWE Women's Champion Paige. Paige and Alberto went public with their relationship in May of 2016. We all know that, yada, yada, yada. I'm just looking for what he said because this goes on and on. Del Rio also reiterated comments he made back in April saying once he signed a $1 million confidentiality agreement, he then found out Paige didn't own a house or a car and had just $60,000 to $70,000 in her bank account. Alberto continues to say enough is enough and warned Paige to leave him alone, but it remains to be seen where these threats are coming from. He previously stated in the same April interview that he wants the best for Paige. Still employed by WWE, Paige has been in a relationship with the Falling in Reverse singer Ronnie Radke since late 2018 and is focused on her channel, Twitch these days. You can see Alberto's full comments. He said, I had another situation with another person of accusing me of something. What's your evidence? And thank God now, I said it in my interview with my great friend Hugo Savinovich. Hey, we had a confidential agreement in the past for $1 million. That's the only reason why I never did anything, never said anything. I never exposed you. I never told the truth about all your arrests for domestic violence when we were together. But please don't mess with me again. Enough is enough. I have no intentions of, and everybody knows who I'm talking about. No more, no more. Enough is enough. The confidentiality agreement is no longer there. You breached that contract. So now I can tell the truth about who was and who wasn't arrested in 3 different times for domestic violence. And it wasn't me. 7 police reports for domestic violence. And it wasn't me. They talked, they barked, they were poking and trying to make me talk. And I think they wanted to make me talk to come and collect $1 million because when we signed that confidentiality agreement, hey, I was WWE champ. I did good money-wise, and the other person, after signing the contract, I realized she didn't own anything, but the contract was already signed when I found out. He continued, I have no intention of affecting anyone. Please leave me alone. Enough is enough. And all of that people, you should be thankful it's because of me why she still has a job. Because if I would have exposed her in the past, if I'm not just talking, barking crap, I've got documents of what I'm saying. I have evidence. And if not, hey, come sue me. Come on and sue me. But if you try to do something, I will. But those 3 arrests for domestic violence are out there. And I will tell the truth of what happened, what really happened, not a BS story that we told the media to protect her from losing her job. And because we did it when we were engaged, we were a couple, we did it together. We threw a bullshit story to the media, to the fans, and that's not a real story. And I have no intentions of entertaining the internet. And I don't want to affect anyone's life, but please stop messing with me. Pretty sticky situation from people who seem to have very broken moral compasses, whether not just this, where, she was under contract and he's coked up in Impact and she's sitting at ringside with a lucha mask on while she's under WWE employ, or when they get into it and he gets arrested with his brother and ends up punching the walls in the fucking police station with leaving blood everywhere, or the time they had the domestic issue and got busted and she's screaming he's got cocaine in his bag at the airport. All of these seem like just normal relationship happenings. And then after they're done, he's accused of kidnapping and domestic abuse on another woman. It seems like everybody is just really adulting at their best here, Stevie.
So there was a $1 million NDA that if either one of them spoke about this, they would have to pay the other person $1 million. Is that the way I understand this?
Right. But ribs on him because she's only got $70,000. However, I heard she was pulling in around 40 grand off of Twitch there a month at the top.
Well, I don't mean she's not spending 40 grand a month on whatever. So it could be, well, who knows? I mean, it could be just Amazon and look at Peyton Royce. So I can't really comment on it because it's just crazy, man. When you're in a toxic relationship or a toxic friendship or a toxic anything in or out of the business just kind of magnifies it. Makes it seem a lot worse because everybody can kind of get into that or see it in a locker room. It's no good. I mean, it's just soul draining. It's energy draining. It really isn't. I think he's sincere. He didn't sound, from the context of what you read, it doesn't sound like he's being belligerent. It doesn't sound like he's being arrogant about it. The things that he's been accused of in the past. It sounds like it's a long-winded way of saying, hey, listen, just leave me alone. I don't want to deal with you anymore, right? That's literally what he's saying.
There must be something going on behind the scenes where she's sliding into DMs or some shit like that. But let's be honest. We have 2 people with obvious chemical, sexual abuse, probably a lot of Freudian issues who grew up in the business around top scumbags who took advantage of them. And these are throat cutters from the jump, both of them. And when you have addicts like this and then you put a bunch of money on top of it, it only reinforces the terrible behaviors that didn't carve them out to be quality human beings from the jump. And I'm really sick of seeing both of them have opportunities and jobs in this business. Like they do nothing but put each other at risk for a tragedy that will eventually end worse and more regulation for the rest of us because of their ill behaviors.
I've seen it way more. I mean, I've seen this show play out over and over again, and the business loves fuck ups. The business loves fuck ups.
Mhm.
Vince loves it. Promoters love it because
Why?
there's a certain, well, I guess from a financial standpoint, if you're a guy or a girl that saves your money, invest, do this and that, they don't have anything to hold over you. They love the stories like Davari bought like a Hummer his third day in the company or something like that, like the first week. They love that shit because just like any other corporation, if you're in so much debt and you have such a huge lifestyle to support, you're gonna need them, and they can manipulate you any way they want. They can pay you whatever they want. They can use you however they want. And wrestling's like that to an extent. Also, there's something about the flawed human being that fascinates Vince McMahon that he keeps pushing. And also, maybe there's people that say, hey, you shouldn't really put this person on, like Jimmy Uso. Hey, don't do it, man, because it's a bad look. Well, I'll show you a bad look. You know what I mean? It's almost like a fuck you. I'm God. I can do whatever I want.
How many other $1 million NDAs does she have with people that we don't know that she's banged around on to hold it over their head too? And that's why I think that's why that job is still there, because after The Rock's terrible movie of their life or whatever, and then she politics again for her brother to get signed, and it doesn't happen because they're Carney family 101, but she's still under contract. There's something big blackmail going on there, bro. Especially she can't work. She's not being a host. She's not doing anything to facilitate to help the shows, sell a ticket, draw a crowd. She's only a liability, but still on the payroll. There's a big, I got something over somebody to keep that happening, bro.
And this girl's in her mid-20s. Like all of this stuff has happened to her before 25, 26. Is that about what she?
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't come up on a graphic on her entrance how old she is, but it's still I got to think that's how old she is.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, she's been a 40-year-old worker since she was 15. You know what I mean? So that's the honeypot trapping, the addiction to whatever it is, and with Del Rio, it's on the other side. I'm not trying to go to bat for him at all. This is another guy who's probably intertwined with LMA and the fucking Mexican mob and, made his name there enough to get over to WWE. I thought his WWE run was terrible. I couldn't stand a Mexican guy doing the JBL thing with a goddamn scarf around his neck, one of the stupidest gimmicks in the history. Well, they're going, this is the guy. And I'm going, I don't connect with this dude.
That's a Vince gimmick, though. You never know what he could have came up with on his own.
It was rotten. His whole run was, and the double stomp finish is one of the stupidest things I think in wrestling too. So, team never get over is what they are, and they're their own worst enemies. To be honest with you, people like this deserve each other. They're enablers, and that's what they're going to keep repeating this pattern of behavior the rest of their lives until it ends tragically, because there's no one ever stopped it or had the intervention or whatever rehab isn't going to work on them. They're just lowest of the low, in my opinion, man.
Well, we know a few wrestling relationships that are kind of teetering in stage one of something like this. I mean, it's like I said before, there's already a fostered resentment if one person's getting pushed, the other's not. And this is all designed by Vince and promotions and people. Put the girl on the road, keep the guy at home, the other way around. They play these games, and it's up to us when we're there to stay out of them and then make yourself as unavailable as possible to be the victim of these games.
Well, even look what he's saying here. It's not anything about, I want my life with my family and I want to be left alone to try and get back on the right track. It's, she signed this, and I would sue her for $1 million, but she only had 60 to 70,000 in her bank account. Like, that's what they're worried about at the end of the day. I wanted to do the NDA to get you for $1 million, but you only have this amount. Interesting. Interesting and too true. Final shoot of the day, Michael Elgin arrested for violation of protection order. Former ROH world champ Michael Elgin, aka Aaron Frobel, was arrested last month for violating a protective order. Elgin was arrested on Tuesday, June 29th by Belleville, Illinois, police in Belleville, Illinois, and charged with violation, according to Angel Rodriguez of Wrestle News. The order of protection was filed and served on May 12th of this year by Elgin's ex-fiancee. She alleges that he violated the order multiple times between June 7th and 14th using alias names and email addresses to try and make contact, even attempting to contact her through her mother and other third parties. I think that's more copy. Advertising. All right. The woman stated to police that she left her home on April 21st because she was being abused physically, mentally, verbally, and emotionally. She also stated that Elgin tried to contact her over 30 times, violating the order as a backlash for leaving and getting the order of protection. The woman says she was in a relationship with Elgin from June 2020 till April 21st, 2021, engaged to be married. They lived together at an address in Belleville. The woman also stated to police that she was never injured, nor was any property damage during the incident with Elgin. Yeah. And she never called 911, but she was abused by Elgin and many times in the past and never reported it. She stated that while in the relationship, she felt she was sexually abused. She stated she was never restrained, battered, abused, or choked during the relationship, but she felt intimidated by Elgin due to his size. Come on, lady. She also said she felt that she could not say no to Elgin during sexual encounters. She described some of those encounters, and she said she felt like she was always had to perform sexual favors for Elgin, or he would ignore her and be visibly upset and make her feel guilty. It was also stated that Elgin never harmed her, but she has fear of potential violence due to his use of steroids. The police report includes the following statement, quote, "Since I've been in a relationship with the respondent, I have suffered sexual, mental, and emotional and verbal abuse from him. Abuse included punishment for saying no to sex, berating me verbally in public, berating me verbally in private, isolating me from my friends and family, monitoring my phone and computer to see if I'm complying, extreme control, sexual caretaking, pressure to engage in sexual acts I expressed not wanting to do, exposing my sexual health by seeing male and female sex workers during our relationship, insulting me and shaming me, and intimidation. I recently found that he has been texting me our entire relationship from different fake numbers, pretending to be people from my past and saying nasty things about me. I believe this was used along with many other tactics and control and manipulation to break me down and keep me under control." You may remember back in late June, there were claims made by people close to Elgin that he had disappeared under suspicious circumstances and they were concerned for his well-being. He surfaced a few days later. Elgin's ex spoke with Wrestle News and said that his disappearance was actually when he was arrested for violating that order. She stated that Elgin has claiming his mental health has issues of defense. She noted that he wants her story out to prevent this from happening to somebody else. Heavy stuff, but at the same time, not to say that mental abuse isn't tantamount to physical abuse, but it paints the picture one way and then she says another thing. So I'm not here to go to bat for Elgin because I had issue with some stuff I saw him do on video before Kevin Owens ever even got signed on the Kevin Owens show, where he was talking about some girls they took, this is when they were all in ROH, they took back to the hotels and they were pissing on the girls. And the girls thought it was going to be a fun time with the boys, and it turned into some weird sexual abuse thing with a girl crying. And he's like laughing about it, telling this story to Owens, and Owens is like cringy, like, what the fuck are you saying on my show right now, bro? I've worked shows with Elgin, multiple, 2CW up in Canada, Border City Wrestling, right before he kind of went off the radar. Never have I worked in matches with him and whatnot, and I didn't see any behaviors like that, but seems like there's quite a stack against this guy in the last 2 years of him being off the radar, and I don't know if it's because of steroids. I don't know about how hard he is into any drug scene or like that, but some serious sexual dysfunction seems to be going on here, and also intimidation and also almost hostage taking through mental and emotional distress.
Yeah, I don't know how to follow that up. You pretty much covered it. It's a tough situation. This has to be Man, can we just talk about the fucking Thunderdome LEDs being taken down? Can we go back to that?
We go back to it. I mean, I wish we could in the locker room, man, but like that's just like
well, here's the thing. Here's what I said before, and this concerns kind of lumping names in, but the situations. Jimmy Uso, Bagwell, other people that have been in main event spots in WWE and other places that have committed domestic abuse, domestic violence, other things. I'm not saying that's what Bagwell with the driving under the influence, Jimmy Uso with driving under the influence, but then there's a whole score of other things, but they need to be addressed by the spot the person currently has within the wrestling business, because that's how the companies and the public seem to react. If you're a bigger star, it means you're a good person and you need to be given a break. I'm not saying it's universal, but if Elgin was on top or in WWE or even in Riddle's spot and decided to fight it and was drawing WWE money, what would be the reaction to it? He's a big pariah right now after the last one and everything else, and him disappearing. It seems like he's only a couple steps away from, God forbid, something even worse being reported on. But if Elgin was, one of the EVPs at AEW,
yeah,
I'm just saying, would it be swept under the carpet? Would there be hey, you can't report on this site? Tony Khan doing whatever he can, or whoever do, because we do have situations within that company where it doesn't get this kind of attention. That's the disease. That's the real disease within the business, that there is not, it's not even a double standard. There's literally like, oh, you killed somebody. Let's see your fake push and where you're at. Okay, well, let's react according to that. That's just what I've seen over 30 years in the business.
Yeah, and they keep getting rewarded.
But it's not just, but here's the thing. Even the talking heads on the football shows, Antonio Brown was the most famous one of recent memory. Antonio was worth every headache as long as his stats showed he was worth the headache. Now, it's a legitimate sport, and I'm not saying it's different, but this should be an easier decision because nobody's over in wrestling right now. You could put anything on TV, and it's going to draw the same shitty ratings. Who knows? You might throw somebody out there, and it might draw better rating. You might strike gold out of nowhere for whatever, but one thing's for sure. Jimmy Uso not being on Friday Night SmackDown is not going to make or break the show.
Yeah.
Okay. And it should be something that should change in theory, but unfortunately, the human element and the bread and circuses that the normal American citizen or world citizen wants to see trumps any morals or ethics. And we will determine how to treat our heroes or make them villains depending upon how much we enjoy watching them on this thing behind me right here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've said anything off base with that, but that's just what I've seen.
It seems to be just because you can be on a TV screen in a fantasy.
Yeah, but I wasn't WWE champion, so what I know.
That's right. That's the whole thing. You don't know shit.
That's great. Anytime I make a really good point, I want you to say that to me. I want you to bring me back down to earth.
Damn, bro. Like, whatever the fuck.
I was this close, though.
Dude, this Peter thing, I'll throw him under the bus. I don't give a shit because he tried to fuck with me. I deleted the comment. This is a guy that only OVW people know, Marty Richardson, who's was the editor for a lot of years there of TV. I put up my fucking Cameo link, cameo.com/bin. He goes, "You're charging $30." Like, I'm like, dude, you're going to come at me in public with that shit of like, who the fuck are you, an indie guy, to do that? Meanwhile, I'm on with top stars. I fucking worked some of the best legends, and a guy who was supposed to be in our own camp is going to come at me. And then Alexa Bliss is doing $800. You're telling me I'm not worth fucking the, X amount of that. I almost got at him on message like, what the fuck is your problem? But I didn't. I was like, you're not even worth my time if you're going to be that fucking toxic. I just want people like this out of our business. I know it's carnies, queers, and addicts, And when I say queers, that's that Elgin behavior, super queer, like sexual dysfunction is what I call queer. You
It's
know,
like dildo story time hour type shit, right?
yeah. Or like, here's my fiance, but I got to go hire a prostitute because I need this. The pissing on rats and things along those lines, dude. If you're doing that shit and joking about it in 2021, you have no idea of what you are, who you are, and how you need to behave. And it's the same thing with, I would have sued her for $1 million. I got 3 of domestic abuse things here. See what I got to hit you with. These people got to go. They're morally deficient. I don't give a shit if they want to say anything to me. I live my life like a fucking real man. Never would I abuse my wives like that to make them feel less than, to do that or hold them in a position of power. And then these guys are making 10, 20 times, 30 times of his Del Rio, the envelope that I'm making on the fucking indies. Nah, not here, kid. Not anymore. Not with this fucking 43-year-old man. Not with pissing on fucking teenage girls thinking it's funny that's going to get you over. Time to go, bud. Back to the fucking DPW crew. You're scraping woodchucks off the side of the road and slinging patch the rest of your days. And you should be thankful to fucking have that gig as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And we need to remove in a way, like the access, like Del Rio or other people want to go on shows and talk about this stuff. It sensationalizes it to a degree that, once again, you're doing it as a PR thing.
And shout out to Chris, he's got to make his money, but he gets giving these guys the spotlight still. A Del Rio after how many times until it turns into a Benoit?
Van Fleet didn't have him on. That was somebody else, right?
He has before, but you know what I mean. I'm just it's just they got to be gone. Like, you know what I mean? They got to be gone. So
well, and there could be another option.
Yeah,
you, myself, and Russo expand the Realm Network so we don't have to deal nearly as much with the wrestling bullshit, because the wrestling business has been dead on arrival forever. It's always attracted, at least to mostly a degree, the unique characters, but also with the unique characters that can't fit into society. Here are 2 unique characters, or 3 counting Paige, that can't fit into society. So the thing that got people over is exactly what is the double-edged sword that it's carved out of the tooth of the Loch Ness Monster. So there, two teeth.
Dude,
that's what you get in all week.
On AEW, last night on AEW, there was an entire promo about a horse in the middle of the fucking ring too, with Cowboy there too. So not only are we doing ribs shit on Master Shoot, they're actually talking about horses in promos about a man who killed a horse and he had to watch it and put it down. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on in this ring, bro?
That Canadian spaceman said we should give a podcast to the AEW fan that tried to get in the ring. You should call it hitting the ring. That's what you should call it.
In the ring this week, you guys. Yeah, that guy's an idiot too. They all are at the end of the day. We look forward to expanding the Realm Network to break ties with more morally deficient pro wrestling morons as we are in the last days and times. But hey, there's a new set. There's going to be augmented reality, so you don't have to live in real reality. And we'll thumbs up it. I hope there's an augmented plexiglass sleeper. I
looked all. I can't believe that's not a meme by now. I looked all over for man falls asleep at Performance Center, WWE Raw. I think
we're the only ones who saw it, dude. It's August of 2019. If you go back through and somebody wants
2020.
Oh, was it 2020?
Yeah, there was no pandemic in 2019.
Oh, yeah. Well, COVID-19, right?
No, that's what's weird about it. Like,
why? So August 2020, go back and watch, was it Raw? All of the Raws from NXT Performance Center. And if you can find the plexiglass sleeper, you will be, I'll send you a Ben Hameen shirt. I mean, if you get through all that Raw to find us the plexiglass sleeper.
I can't believe we haven't found out who that is or who said an eye for an eye. Those are our 2 favorite people.
Some of our other favorite people, Big Ray and the Vet, are going to be back here live at at Hameen Media Group YouTube channel at 11 a.m. And then hopefully we'll be back here at twitch.tv/Hameen Media and HMG YouTube with the Chris Silvio and myself, as MSG is on vacation, well earned. hanging out with his homies in Arizona. Hopefully he's having a good time. But you guys looking for entertainment, keep it locked right here, Hameen Media Group YouTube channel, guys, and Twitch. We appreciate you subscribing, and any bits or whatever you want to do, that's fine. We're approved on Twitch once again. I'm banned from Ben Hameen YouTube for 2 weeks based on an old conspiracy horseman that apparently we were cyberbullying Ghislaine Maxwell, Stevie.
She's definitely a victim. We need to be careful with her because she didn't do – what did she do to hurt anybody?
What did she do? I mean, if Elgin's looking for somebody to piss on, maybe she's the one.
Yeah, she's gonna hold my piss to Elgin and say, "Watch this."
Oh shit, man! What's going on with you, Stevie? Did you get any reps in on the new fight system, man? I'm super jealous. It looked awesome.
My wife did yesterday. She enjoyed it a lot. We may be running out of room here in home gym, so we have to figure out a solution. Yeah, that's a good piece right there. And even for the price, we obviously had it sent to us, so we're very lucky to have that. But for all that, with the pads and everything, to be around $700, it's a pretty good professional piece of equipment. We're gonna have that review coming up, a bunch of other stuff. Also, we're setting up. You can see here I have a new voiceover microphone, so hopefully it sounds good. We're going to be doing some other stuff, and big shout out to Rode. Jason at Rode got tired of seeing the SM7B and said, "I got to send you a Rode broadcaster." I think there's a little more clarity and fullness to it. Sometimes the SM7B can sound muddy. Also, hoping to have water. I mean, I'm going to be shaking the rain sticks all day. We're going to see if we can get some water in here. And, as with anything, I start looking at options and what we can do. And they might not be very many right now with trying to find a homestead or a compound of some sort, but got to keep looking, No one's half the battle.
When the stars, Joe, when the stars align, we'll be there to take advantage of it, man. But instead, we still just play the game as best we can while being in the face of constant tyranny and technocracy and being banned while we build out Realm Network. A huge David Icke interview, hopefully coming up probably around August 1st with Horseman, and trying to do more and more, just get everything at a top level for you guys. And we'll maybe do some augmented realities, and who knows, you might
have a new setback here because that's why we don't have 1 million subscribers.
That's right. That's
my fault.
Maybe I'll have some digital birds fly out of my crotch. You never know. We'll have a good time with it. Cameo.com/Ben Hameen if you want Bints or Ben Hameen promos. That's the place to go. I mean, some people don't think I'm worth it, but the other 5-star reviews that I've gotten on there do. So if you want somebody to break up with your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is, quit your job or tell your kid to get out of the basement, I'm available for all that kind of stuff, man. We're having a good time with it. Birthday stuff, everything. I'll be in New Jersey this weekend for Titan Championship Wrestling with my man Blaze Haram, taking on Merck. So another U.S. soldier to beat down as we head to 9/11 20-year celebration of victory. Looking forward to that. On the 31st, I'll be with Immortal Championship Wrestling back with my man GGP. I think Just Incredible's on there, Rhett, Titus, and plenty of other top talent that we're going to have a good show being back right in our own backyard once again. So I'm looking forward to it. August 1st, I'm in Messina, New York. So plenty of road dates coming up. Hopefully not many bumps, Stevie. Yeah, man.
Hopefully not.
Yeah,
I do have shows coming up. I forgot I do have wrestling shows coming up. But
go for it, man.
No, we'll talk about it next week.
Okay. You can catch us. You guys know where. Hameen Media Discussion Group, Hameen Media Group. Stevie Ray TV, great stuff last night as well with Amber Neal from Matchmaker Hotline. So if you're looking for love, check that out, man, as well. Idle in April on the A Show had a big week with someone from TED Talks on there as well. So a high-level discussion. And thank you for going over to the A Show Twitch. I know they had the biggest numbers so far in the live chat, and that's always great to see. Beautiful people keeping it beautiful, as Hameen Media Group is now blocked by Wade Keller after Kaz shared the Russo brand with Velvet Sky, where Keller said a bunch of shit about Russo was the one that made the beautiful people grab each other's asses backstage or whatever. Russo goes, "Oh yeah," calls Velvet, couple Patrons in her, went off on Keller, said the whole thing was bullshit, that Vince never did that, and makes Keller look like an asshole. So once again, the truth will get you blocked and banned. So thanks.
What is up with that? I know we're wrapping it up, Why can't people just say, like, even with that lawsuit on Riddle, I said something and then you read it and I go, oh, I was wrong. It wasn't just for that. It was all these other. Well, what's so difficult about that? Then you move on. When you hang on to it or you act to block it out, you only make yourself look like an even bigger idiot, and people hang on to it and start piling from that, right? Just say
man.
I'm wrong.
100%. Like they just undercut their own whatever little credibility they had.
Well, who pays for that shit then?
When they
That's
sell
your attitude.
Yeah, I want all of his subscribers. I want everybody to unsubscribe and to come over to Realm, because if that's the move they're making after telling a lie, then the people involved you're lying about hear it, contact each other, and then openly in an open discussion in front of people, nothing set up, it's all in the moment for the reality and truth, bury the guy who has no business reporting on anything, because A, he's not in the business, never taken a bump, was never on the creative team, hears everything second and third hand, reports it as fact, then gets his cock cut off in the fucking grinder because he put it out there. But we're the ones at fault for exposing you as a liar? Nah. Shut your business down, B. I want all your subscribers. You're less than nothing. You're a hanger-on and a leech in this business, and that's what you should be regarded as, not some fucking telltale person who has some wisdom that they never trained for, never came up under anybody, and just because longevity of being a dirt sheet writer makes you think that you're some type of soothsayer. You're not. You're a rib, and every dime you earn should come to those who fucking are telling the truth. So, Allah, man, happy to be banned by.
Yeah, and have them use my affiliate link after they come over here and subscribe.
Yeah. And go to StevieRichardsFitness.com. You guys join the workout revolution. I got some good compliments from people saying they feel like they can see a change in what I'm doing, especially off of my cameos where I was wearing the suit.
Enough for them, or?
Yeah, it was plenty. A suit with no pants, and they were like, wow, look at how mean. But y'all, man, that's a long Friday locker room. Stevie, I appreciate the time as always, buddy, and the insight. We will be back at 11 a.m. with Big Ray and the Vet. You guys stay tuned. Y'all.